You've likely heard about a lawsuit involving the National Association of Realtors and the subsequent settlement, which has precipitated some changes in the real estate industry. Unfortunately, most of this information has been communicated ineffectively by the media, leading to a gross misunderstanding by most of the public regarding what has actually transpired. In a nutshell, there are two major changes, and only one which has a direct effect on the public. The first change is regarding compensation paid to a buyer's agent, and there's a lot of confusion surrounding this one. A lot of people think that sellers no longer have to pay a set fee to a buyer's agent, which is true, but it's always been true. The fact of the matter is, commissions paid by a seller to agents on either side have always been fully negotiable, and anything to the contrary would have been a violation of antitrust laws. So, this change, while it's a change, isn't really changing anything. The only real change happening with regard to buyer's agent compensation is that this amount can no longer be advertised in the MLS. It can be advertised anywhere else in any way, but it cannot be a part of an MLS listing from this point forward. So, what has changed for sellers with regard to buyer's agent compensation? In short, not a whole lot. Now, the second change is a big change, but it centers mostly on buyers. I say mostly because it does have seller impacts, but we'll talk about those in a minute. In the past, most agreements between buyers and their agents were informal, handshake type agreements with details to be discussed later on in the transaction. However, now agents must enter into written agreements with buyers before showing homes. These agreements ensure that buyers understand the services they will receive, as well as any fees they may need to pay. These fees could include commissions if sellers are choosing to not compensate the agent. These agreements are called buyer-broker agreements and have been used for many years in other states, but have not been a common practice here in Florida until now. Beginning August 17, 2024, any buyer engaged with a realtor in real estate-related activities must sign a buyer-broker agreement without question. Of course, this begs the question, in this market, many buyers are struggling to buy homes as it is. So how in the world will they come up with the funds to pay their realtor on top of all the other costs associated with buying a home? Well, the answer is simple. Buyers are in the driver's seat, and they have the option to either ask the seller for concessions to pay their agent, or they can direct their agent to not show them homes whose sellers are not offering adequate compensation to cover that which has been agreed upon in the buyer-broker agreement. Up until this point, it's been a violation of the Code of Ethics for any realtor to selectively show homes based on the amount of compensation being provided. And remember, these amounts have always been negotiable, so they could easily vary from property to property. Yes, with some properties offering even as little as $1. All that to say, realtors have always had to show a buyer any home they wanted to see, regardless of the compensation that was being provided to them as the agent. Now, because the payment of buyer agent commissions might have to be shouldered by the buyer themselves, the buyer has the right to exclude homes from their search which are not willing to compensate a buyer's agent. And remember when I said that all of this does affect sellers in some way? Well, this is why. Offering a commission to a buyer's agent could give your home a competitive edge on the market and possibly bring more buyers to see your home because you are willing to compensate their agent for the services being provided to the buyers. So just like exceptional pictures or beautiful staging, this concession is just one more piece to add to your home's marketing that could make it a more desirable property for some buyers. So to wrap this up, while the settlement does change the way that we handle commissions and agreements, the main goals still remain the same. As realtors, we are still here to help you navigate transactions, understand the process, and ultimately help buyers and sellers buy and sell homes. This is, of course, the 35,000-foot view of what's going on, and really all I can fit into this 5-minute video. But it does give you a gist of what's happening. I really wanted to get the point across that when you see articles that say things like a profound shift, those articles are just meant to incite fear. And frankly, that's what the media is using because it's what gets people to read articles and listen to news stories. Yes, how we do things is definitely changing, but what we do for buyers and sellers is not. We now have a few more steps to take, that's for sure, but these changes aren't nearly as seismic as the media is making them out to be. So, talk with your agent, get the real story, and know that we are still here to help our buyers and our sellers in the best ways we know how, just like we've always done. So, as I close this video out, I'm just going to give some real talk. Please don't crucify me in the comments for this. I understand that this lawsuit is definitely something that a lot of people have been talking about. And like I've said, there's been a lot of misinformation on it. But the fact remains that most realtors really are good people, and they're here trying to help the public navigate very difficult, complicated transactions. I know what the perception of realtors is amongst the public. We are one step above used car salesmen. And that's because there are some realtors who give us that reputation. And those are the agents you don't want to work with. I can tell you that any buyer or seller I have ever worked with, hundreds over the years, will tell you that I am anything but a pushy salesman. In fact, I'm a teacher. Those of you who have been watching my YouTube channel or following me on Facebook, you know where I started out. I taught elementary school for 12 years. At my core, I am an educator. I went into real estate to help people navigate difficult transactions and to teach them about the process. I truly believe in what I do and the fact that I'm doing real estate the right way. So while these changes are difficult and they center around things that I don't like to talk about, like how I get paid, the fact of the matter is, I can't work for free. Neither can you. And in fact, my errors and omissions insurance won't even cover me if I'm working for free. So I really cannot work for free and still be an effective realtor. So, all that to say, I hope you have seen this video through the lens through which it was meant to be viewed, a lens of helpfulness and clarity. So, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you right back here next time on Experience St. John's.